The moonlight filters through the bamboo grove, painting the ground with rippling silver patterns. You breathe in the hush of night, each inhale anchoring you more deeply to this stillness. There is no rush here, no past regrets to chase, no future worries to tend. Only this soft unfolding of time like petals, opening in darkness, inviting you to rest within the mystery of what is. You wander along a moss-covered path, the damp earth yielding beneath your feet. In the distance, a faint chime rings a single bell, swinging in an empty courtyard. Its sound is neither loud nor faint. It simply is carrying through the cool air as effortlessly as your own breath. You pause, noticing how the bell's voice begins and ends without attachment, illustrating that every sound is complete in itself. This is the teaching of impermanence. Even the echo of the bell must fade to make way for another moment of silence. What remains when the ringing stops? The stillness that was always here. A lantern burns at the temple gate, its flame steady against the gentle night breeze. You step closer and recall a Zen story of the traveling monk who reached a mountain summit only to find his lantern extinguished. Rather than despair, he cupped his hands around the cold wick and whispered, "Light and darkness are not two." In that moment, he felt the warmth of his own breath kindle a new glow, reminding him that the source of illumination resides within. And so even as shadows gather, you realize your own awareness can fan the tiniest spark into gentle radiance. You slip inside the hall, guided by the lantern's glow. Tatami mats lie before you in perfect rows, and the scent of sandalwood drifts from unseen incense. You settle onto the floor spine, straight yet relaxed, and close your eyes. With each breath, you notice thoughts arising, memories, concerns, stray images like lanterns floating in a pool. Yet none of these lanterns belong to you. They drift away when you allow them their full shape and then let them go. What remains is the clear water of your own mind, reflecting the unchanging sky. A teacher once told of a student who carried water in a cup across a rickety bridge. Distracted by fear, he spilled half the water and arrived thirsty. When he complained, the teacher simply said, "If you had carried the water in your empty hands, you would have held less fear of spilling and more freedom to share what remained." You feel the truth of this, now noticing how gripping at thoughts only drains your inner reservoir. Could you set down the cup and let your hands be open, trusting in the fullness of what remains? A gentle invitation arises: rest here with nothing to secure and nothing to attain. Imagine your worries as autumn leaves drifting down a silent river. Each leaf finds its own path carried away until it merges with the great current. No effort is required. They simply float. In the same way, allow your mind's concerns to drift without clinging, surrendering to the natural flow of awareness. The night deepens and the lantern's flame flickers, reminding you of the transient beauty of each moment. Yet within you, a steadiness endures, like the unshaken presence behind every thought. Here in the quiet heart of night, you discover that even as the world changes, there is an unbroken thread of awareness weaving through every breath. What remains when all else fades? You, the silent witness, free of hope and fear, cradled in the vast embrace of now. A soft breeze stirs the curtains at the far end of the hall, carrying the scent of night-blooming jasmine. You rise, moving without hurry, toward the low wooden window. Outside, the stars shimmer like dew upon the sky's dark silk. As you trace their light with your gaze, you remember the teaching of no self, that you are neither fixed nor separate, but a gathering of events breath, thought sensation, ever shifting like constellations in the night. Who is it then that watches these stars? Only the silent sky itself. You slide open the window and let the cool air wash over your face. In that moment, you recall a Zen tale of a monk who, when asked to define his own nature, reached out and cupped water in his hands. He watched it slip through his fingers without grasping, then said, "My true form is like this water, present formless and always flowing." Feel the truth of this image. Your sense of self, like water, cannot be held. It moves freely through the world, touching everything, yet clinging to nothing. Gently, you sit on the wooden ledge and bring your attention to the simple rhythm of your breath. Inhale, expansion. Exhale, release. Each cycle holds the seed of awakening. You notice a thought, rise a worry about tomorrow's tasks. Rather than push it away, you observe it as though it were a strand of mist dissolving into the morning sun. What remains when you stop resisting clarity? A spaciousness that welcomes all sights, all sounds without judgment. A moth flutters near the lantern's glow, its fragile wings catching sparks of light. You watch as it circles the flame, drawn by warmth, yet turning away at the last moment to hover in darkness. This is the nature of desire, an attraction that both fuels and ensnares. The Buddha's teaching on craving reminds you that attachment, like the moth's perilous dance, leads to suffering. And yet compassion invites you to see the moth's longing without blame, to understand that all beings seek warmth. What compassion could arise if you held your own desires with gentle curiosity rather than harsh criticism? You rise again and move toward the small altar at the hall's center, where a single lotus rests in shallow water, its petals pale in the lamplight, unfurling without haste. Remember the story of the teacher who once asked her students to place a wilted lotus in their hair each dawn. At first, they scorned the chore, but over time, they came to cherish its quiet reminder of beauty's fragility and the gentleness required to care for life. As you breathe in the lotus's subtle fragrance, consider how can you attend to your own heart with such tenderness. Settling back on the mat, you allow your thoughts to settle like silt undisturbed at the bottom of a clear pond. In the silence that follows, you feel the gentle invitation of presence. Rest here beneath the vast, unending sky of awareness. No goal, no striving, only the simple act of being. As night deepens, let this moment carry you softly toward sleep. Each breath guiding you deeper into the boundless peace that has always been your true home. A distant flute melody drifts across the courtyard, gentle notes weaving through the night air. You follow the sound to a small alcove where a lone musician sits beneath a pine, fingers dancing over strings. The melody rises and falls like your own breath, reminding you that music and silence are partners in the same dance. This is the teaching of emptiness, that sound exists not apart from the silence that shapes it, and silence is heard through the echoes of sound. Listen into the spaces between each note. What depth unfolds there? You sink to your knees beside the musician, and without words, he offers you the bow. As you draw it across the strings, the tone quivers playful and profound. You realize that every action, however small, carries the imprint of awakening when offered with full attention. Recall the story of the young disciple who scrubbed the temple floor for years before uttering a single verse of scripture. His sweeping strokes became his sermon, each movement an expression of mindfulness. In the same way, your simple breath, your steady presence right now, embodies the Dharma itself. Night deepens further, and the cool breeze shifts, carrying a single cherry blossom petal through the open window. You catch it on your palm and observe its delicate veins and tender curve. Such beauty so brief, this is the essence of impermanence. What joy arises when you allow each moment to shine fully before it fades. Could you welcome each experience like this petal, knowing its time is fleeting yet sacred? You rise and return to the inner hall, placing the petal gently upon the altar beside the lotus. Then you sit again on your cushion, back straight, yet soft, letting the body settle as naturally as a mountain sinks into the earth. Thoughts may come and go, like clouds drifting over a vast sky, but below them remains the luminous expanse of awareness. What is left when the clouds pass? Only the open sky, untroubled and free. As you rest here, feel the gentle invitation to merge with this quiet vastness. No longer bound by tasks or plans, you inhabit the simplicity of pure presence. Let each breath be a reminder you need only this moment, and this moment is enough. Soon, sleep will find you carrying you on its silent wings into the dreamless depths where nothing is required and everything is given. A lull settles into the hall as the musician's bow rests, and the only sound is the soft rhythm of your breath. You allow your awareness to expand outward as if the walls themselves dissolve into the night. In this boundless field, every sensation, each whisper of wind, the faint creak of the wooden beam becomes a gentle guide back to presence. Notice how the hall is both intimate and vast, sheltering you, and yet open to the cosmos. You recall the teaching of interdependence, that all things arise in relationship like threads woven into a single tapestry. Without the moon, the bamboo casts no shadow. Without the earth, the lotus cannot bloom. Feel the subtle web connecting you to this place, the support of the floor beneath you, the air that carries the jasmine's scent, the quiet vigilance of the night. Every element conspires to cradle your consciousness in safety. A small bell at the shrine rings, though no hand moves it, and you sense the echo reverberate in your bones. This spontaneous chime is like the arising of insight, unexpected, effortless, reminding you that awakening need not be manufactured. Just as the bell rings on its own accord, so does your true nature reveal itself when you cease striving. What happens when you simply rest, allowing each moment to be as it is? Gently, you rise and walk to the shrine where the single lotus and cherry petal lie side by side. Kneeling, you bow your head, honoring the simplicity of their union, vast mystery contained in a small offering. In this humble gesture, the boundary between giver and receiver fades. You are both the one who bows and the one who is bowed, too inseparable from the flow of giving and receiving. Returning to your cushion, you settle into stillness once more. The night's serenity enfolds you, and you feel the gentle invitation of sleep stirring within. Let your body soften each muscle, releasing its hold. Allow thoughts to dissolve like morning mist, revealing the clear mirror of awareness beneath. Rest here, in the silent heart of the universe, where every breath is both arrival and departure, and every moment holds the fullness of awakening. You feel the warmth of the night deepen as your body relaxes into the tatami beneath you. Eyes closed, you bring awareness to the subtle vibration at the crown of your head, the gentle pulse of life moving through you. This is the teaching of stillness, that beneath every movement, every thought, there exists a quiet current of being. Can you rest your attention here, untouched by the flurry of the mind? A distant hoot of an owl drifts in from the forest beyond the courtyard. You listen without analysis, allowing its call to sink into your bones. In this simple listening, you discover the unity of listener and sound. Remember the tale of the hermit who sat by a rushing stream during a winter storm. He perceived not the storm's fury, but the song of water and ice singing together. In his awareness, there was no other, just the harmony of sound and silence. What harmony might arise when you listen with undivided presence? Gradually, you become aware of your own heartbeat, a soft drum echoing in the chest. You place a hand gently over the heart center and feel its steady beat, reminding you of life's constant rhythm. Like the lotus that opens with the sun's first light, your heart unfolds naturally when met with gentle attention. Invite yourself to rest here in the sanctuary of your own being, where the pulse of life offers endless companionship. A subtle smile lifts at the corners of your mind as you recall the Zen story of the master who held a pebble in his hand and asked, "What weight does this stone carry?" His student replied, "Only what you believe." The master then released the pebble, and the student watched it fall away, astonished by its sudden lightness. What burdens might you release simply by letting go of judgment and expectation? As you settle deeper into stillness, imagine your thoughts as clouds drifting across the expanse of a clear sky. No struggle, no chase, only gentle observation. Allow each cloud to pass without resistance, revealing again and again the vast openness beneath. What remains when you cease to grasp? A boundless peace, ever present, ever welcoming you home. Soft dew collects on the wooden veranda outside as you shift, feeling the coolness beneath your fingertips. In this intimate contact, you remember the teaching of presence, that every moment holds infinite richness when met with full attention. Let your awareness rest on this sensation, the delicate contrast between warmth and chill, as though each drop of dew were a pearl in the vast ocean of now. A hush falls, and the only motion is the slow dance of shadows cast by swaying bamboo. You rise quietly and step onto the veranda where the world seems to breathe as one living being. Feel the gentle sway beneath your feet, the way the floorboards give ever so slightly under your weight, reminding you that stability is found not in rigidity, but in responsive harmony. What strength arises when you move with life instead of resisting it? Far below, a koi glides beneath the surface of the moonlit pond, its reflection shimmering like a flicker of thought. You observe its effortless glide, each turn precise yet unforced. In its motion, you see the teaching of right effort, an energy that neither strains nor slackens, but flows in balanced harmony. With your next inhale, embody that effort, steady, gentle, unwavering. With the exhale, release any tension that remains. You lean against the wooden pillar, closing your eyes to deepen the inner gaze. In the darkness behind your lids, sensations flicker heat from the candle altar, the faint rustle of night insects, the pulse in your temples. All merge into a tapestry of aliveness. Imagine each sensation as a brush stroke in a vast painting, each color and texture essential to the whole. What beauty unfolds when you cease labeling and simply experience. A distant bell tolls once more, each resonance a reminder of the moment's fleeting perfection. You feel your chest rise and fall in time with its echoes, your heart in quiet accord. Here breathing and sound, self and world, moment and eternity all converge in seamless unity. Let this convergence carry you deeper into sleep's gentle tide, where the story of you dissolves into the vast expanse of being, and all that remains is tranquil wakefulness wrapped in the soft arms of night. You inhale deeply, feeling the cool night air fill your lungs like a river of clarity. As you exhale, notice how tension drifts away, carried off by the breeze. This is the teaching of mindful breathing, that each inhale brings welcome. Each exhale releases what no longer serves. How light could you feel if you greeted every breath as a new beginning? Stepping softly into the alcove beyond the veranda, you find a simple wooden basin filled with water drawn from a nearby spring. You dip your fingertips into its glassy surface and lift a droplet to your lips. The water is cool and pure, an offering from the mountain's heart. You recall the Zen tale of the master who, upon drinking from a mountain stream, declared it the nectar of awakening. In that sip, he tasted both impermanence and eternity, realizing that every moment holds the sweetness of insight. What sweetness might reveal itself when you sample life directly, without judgment or hesitation? Returning to your cushion, you let the basin sit at your side as a guardian of this present sanctuary. Eyes closed, you imagine your thoughts as ripples on that water. Each arises, dances, and fades, leaving the surface smooth once more. What remains when ripples cease? The pure reflection of sky and self, undisturbed by passing currents. A soft rustle reaches you as a fox slips through the bamboo just beyond the courtyard. You sense its presence more than see it, an echo of your own subtle awareness. Like the fox, consciousness moves between worlds, unseen yet ever vigilant. In its stealth, you find the teaching of right view, perceiving things as they truly are, beyond illusion. How might your world shift when you see, with the fox's quiet attentiveness, discovering wonder in the simplest movements? You draw your knees to your chest and gently fold forward, resting your forehead on the mat. In this humble bow, you acknowledge the vast mystery that guides every breath and every heartbeat. Listen now to the silence beneath your bow, the gentle invitation of sleep. stirring in the spaces between thought and form. Let yourself dissolve into this embrace of night, where nothing is asked and everything is given. A hush settles as the night's tapestry deepens around you, and you sense the subtle shift between wakefulness and the cusp of dreams. You rise once more, guided by the soft glow of the basin's water, now reflecting moon and lantern alike. As you trace the water's surface with a fingertip, you remember the teaching of non-attachment, how droplets cling only briefly before falling back into the whole. Can you feel yourself loosening the grip on every thought, letting each one slip away like water returning to its source? You stand and step toward the veranda's edge, where a low stool invites you to rest. Seating yourself there, you draw your legs close, wrapping your arms around your knees, and rest your chin gently upon them. From this vantage, the courtyard appears as a silent painting swaying bamboo, a solitary stone lantern, petals drifting across the path like tiny boats. In this still tableau, you recall the Zen story of the blind painter who, unable to see his work, painted not the scenes before him, but the essence within. His brush captured wind as if it were color, and silence as if it were form. How might you perceive your own inner landscape when you let vision soften? A distant cricket begins its nocturne, each chirp a tiny flame bursting in the dark. You listen deeply, noting how the intervals between chirps are as eloquent as the sounds themselves. This is the teaching of spaciousness, the awareness that what is not present is as meaningful as what is. In the spaces between chirps lies a cathedral of silence, offering sanctuary to the wandering mind. What sanctuary might you discover when you reside in that space? Slowly, you unfold your legs and stand feet bare against the cool wood. You bow to the courtyard as if greeting an old friend, honoring the night's gentle guardianship. In this bow, you sense the unity of giving and receiving. You offer your gratitude, and the night offers its peace. Remember the monk, who upon meeting a stranger, bowed deeply, greeting the unknown with reverence. Through that simple act, he recognized the sacred in every encounter. How could each breath become such a meeting? An opening to the sacred moment unfolding. Returning to the warmth of the hall, you lower yourself back onto your cushion. Closing your eyes, you let the final whisper of night cradle you. Feel your breath soften your body melt, and your mind expand into the boundless sky of presence. Here, in this final embrace of night, you need nothing more than this uninterrupted moment. And soon, sleep will carry you gently beyond thought, into the vast expanse, where only the silent witness remains. Soft shadows stretch as you settle back into the quiet hall. The lanterns glow, warm against the gathering darkness. You draw your legs into the lotus posture once more and rest your hands gently in your lap thumb and index lightly touching. In this simple gesture, recognize the unity of action and intention, how even a small seal of the hands can echo the vast seal of the universe. What harmony arises when your body and mind move as one? A slow inhalation brings awareness to the subtle hum of existence within you, the pulse in your wrists, the flicker behind your closed eyelids, the gentle thrum of breath itself. This is the teaching of presence, embodied mindfulness carried not as a practice, but as the very texture of being. Feel the liveliness that arises when you rest fully in this moment, neither gripping nor rejecting, simply meeting reality as it unfolds. In the hush, you recall a Zen story of the teacher who sat for years on a cliff, gazing at the distant sea. A novice asked, "Master, what truth have you found?" The teacher pointed to the horizon where sky and water merged in endless blue and said, "This." No word spoken, yet the student's heart bloomed with understanding. Here too, the boundary between separation and union dissolves. What unfolds is beyond language, beyond thought. Can you sense that boundless horizon within? Your breath slows further, and each exhale feels like a wave returning to the shore of stillness. Thoughts, if they arise, are like passing ships on a vast ocean. You watch them from the lighthouse of awareness, unmoved by their course. What remains when all ships vanish? The silent harbor, ever ready to welcome each new tide. A soft whisper of wind brushes the hall's paper doors, as if the night itself breathes through cracks and seams, inviting you deeper into its embrace. You sink into that invitation, letting every muscle soften, every concept fade. In this profound release, you discover the gentle threshold where wakefulness gives way to sleep. There is nowhere else to go, only this unbroken flow of breath, this infinite stillness cradling you. And so, you rest, carried on the silent wings of night, each breath guiding you deeper into the boundless calm that waits beyond thought. A gentle hush fills the hall as your body softens into the cushion, and you become aware of a quiet warmth radiating from the wooden floor beneath you. You rest your palms against the tatami, feeling the subtle pulse of life that flows through every grain of straw. This is the teaching of interbeing, that you and the world breathe together, inseparable threads in the same tapestry. Can you sense the life that weaves you to each breath, each heartbeat? Beyond the paper doors, a distant rain begins a soft, unhurried patter upon the roof. You listen without labeling the sound, pleasant or unpleasant, allowing its gentle rhythm to weave through your awareness, like a lullaby composed by the earth itself. In that listening, you touch the essence of non-judgment, experiencing each drop as it falls without preference or resistance. What freedom arises when you simply allow experience to be as it is? A candle flickers near the altar, its flame drawing the darkness into tender proximity. You recall the story of the novice who asked the master, "How can I still the mind?" The master placed a candle in the student's hand and said, "Hold it steady." The student focused so intently on preventing the flame from dancing that his mind stilled entirely, and he understood that mindfulness is both simple and profound. Feel that steadiness now, each breath a steady flame illuminating the vast interior of your being. Slowly, you bow your head, pressing your palms together before your heart. In this moment of reverence, the boundary between self and shrine dissolves. You are both worshiper and altar subject and object merging in silent homage. What transformation lies in this simple gesture of unity? As the rain's song deepens, you feel sleep approaching on its own terms. No struggle, no invitation needed. Let yourself dissolve into that onset, carried by the steady rhythm of breath and rain, into the dreamless expanse where awareness rests untouched by form. A soft hush follows each raindrop as it lands the temple roof, now a gentle drum inviting your awareness to its rhythm. You let your attention rest on this cadence, noticing how each tap emerges from quiet and returns to it, illustrating the teaching of dependent origination. Every sound arises in relationship to silence. In this interplay, there is no first or last, only the seamless dance of form and emptiness. What dances might you join when you see all things as partners in the same unfolding? You stand and step toward the open alcove where a low stone bench glistens with rain. Sitting there, you feel the coolness seep into your bones, an embodied reminder that true stillness holds both warmth and chill without preference. You recall the anecdote of the master who shared tea with a hesitant guest. He poured each cup until it overflowed, then stopped and said, "You like this cup are full of your own opinions. Empty yourself first." In this moment, you sense that openness arises when you surrender the need to fill every space. A gentle mist drifts through the courtyard, carrying the scent of pine needles and wet earth. You inhale deeply, letting the fragrance anchor you in this sacred present. With eyes closed, you envision your mind as the mist itself, shapeless, unbounded, drifting freely beyond the confines of thought. What clarity emerges when you let your mind take the shape of nothing. Returning to your cushion, you bow deeply, pressing your forehead to the tatami in a gesture of complete letting go. Here, in the silent meeting of night and rain breath and heart, you need nothing more. Rest in this offering of pure presence and allow sleep's gentle tide to carry you beyond words into the boundless peace that is already and always your true home. A hush follows as the rain tapers into silence, and you become aware of the cool air settling around you like a soft cloak. You inhale slowly, feeling the chill tingle at your nostrils, and exhale warmth that unfurls through your chest. This is the teaching of balance, that clarity arises when extremes meet and find harmony. What inner equilibrium might you discover when you welcome both warmth and chill without turning away? You stand once more and wander toward the small garden just beyond the hall, where a single bamboo shoot pierces the wet ground. Under the street lamp's gentle glow, its slender form bends gracefully, bowing to the weight of raindrops. You recall the story of the bamboo that taught the warrior humility. When the storm raged, the mighty oak broke, but the bamboo bowed and swayed, emerging unbroken once the wind passed. In its flexibility, you find strength. How might you bend with life's storms so you emerge whole again? A single water droplet clings to the tip of the bamboo leaf, trembling before it falls. You watch without judgment as it lets go one instant, clinging the next, merging with the earth below. In that release, you sense the teaching of letting go, that freedom is found not in holding fast, but in the courage to fall. Could you welcome the falling, trusting that it brings you into union with what lies beyond your grip? As you turn back toward the hall, the lantern's glow opens a path through the dark, each step lit by gentle conviction. You pause at the threshold and press your palm to the wooden frame, recalling the presence of every moment that carries you here. What gratitude might arise when you honor this connection between inside and outside self and world? You settle again on your cushion, the evening's coolness, giving way to the warmth of remembrance. In the silent space between breath and thought, know that you are both the bamboo bending and the ground that holds it. Let this unity carry you deeper into sleep's embrace, where form and formlessness unite, and the final shore of rest awaits. A subtle glow lingers in the hall as you breathe in the afterglow of the night's wisdom. Your spine straightens, and you rest your hands gently against your thighs, feeling the quiet strength that arises from ease. This is the teaching of effortless effort. When intention guides without tension, action becomes harmony. How might your every movement become an expression of this balanced energy? From the corner of the room, the faint scent of incense drifts forth, sweet wood and resin curling into the air like a silent melody. You close your eyes and follow its spiral, watching it rise and fade, tracing a dance of presence and absence. In its movement, you taste the teaching of no beginning, no end. Each swirl contains the past, present, and future in one continuous flow. What might you discover when you rest in the awareness beyond time? Slowly, you rise and step toward the altar's single candle, kneeling to gaze at its slender flame. The flame quivers, once, then steadies alive, yet unmoved by drafts. In that flicker, you remember the story of the sage who carried a lit torch through a storm, never once shielding it with his hand, trusting that its radiance would persist. His trust taught him that the light within cannot be extinguished by outer turmoil. Can you hold that same trust in your own inner flame, knowing it endures through every trial? You bow deeply, head touching the floor, and feel waves of gratitude ripple through your being, for this hall, for the night, for every breath that led you here. Rising slowly, you allow the bow to soften into a humble smile, understanding that gratitude and joy are inseparable companions on this path. What lightness might arise when you greet each moment with a heart full of thanks, returning to your cushion. For the final time this night, you settle into silence, each breath drawing you nearer to sleep's gentle threshold. In the space between each inhale and exhale, you find the boundless meadow of presence where no thought can linger long. Rest here now, allowing your awareness to merge with this infinite quiet, and let the gentle arms of sleep carry you into the deepest peace imaginable. A profound stillness settles as you close your eyes and you become aware of the gentle rise and fall of your abdomen, the subtle dance of the breath's wave. You rest a hand there, feeling its undulating rhythm, a reminder that life moves in cycles of coming and going. This is the teaching of the middle way, embracing neither extreme of force nor passivity, but moving with a graceful equilibrium. How might you flow through each moment as naturally as the breath itself? In the hush, you sense the faint heartbeat of the temple wooden beams expanding in the night's coolness, the floorboards whispering beneath unseen footsteps of memory. You recall the Zen story of the sculptor who chipped away at marble until the hidden form of the Buddha emerged. With every careful strike, he learned that patience and precision reveal what already exists within. In the same way, each breath chips away at distraction, unveiling the tranquility that was always present. What hidden calm might you uncover when you attend with patience? A far-off chant drifts through the courtyard, soft syllables, rising and fading like mist. You listen without seeking meaning, letting the sound wash through you like rain on stone. In that surrender, you experience the teaching of faith trust in what you cannot fully grasp, knowing it guides you toward deeper understanding. What faith might flower when you let go of needing to control each outcome? Gently, you open your eyes. The lanterns glow, reflecting in your lids as you bow to the empty hall. In this gesture, the line between greeting and farewell blurs a recognition that every moment contains both arrival and departure. As you rise, you feel the soft weight of sleep's approach, a quiet invitation to release even this form of awareness. Let the body soften thoughts, dissolve, and the gentle tide of night's peace carry you beyond all teaching into the boundless space where only pure presence remains. The lantern's glow dims as the first pale light of dawn begins to brush the sky, yet you remain enmeshed in the velvet hush of pre-dawn calm. You settle once more onto your cushion, feeling the horizon's faint promise stir within your chest. In this liminal space between night and day, you encounter the teaching of non-duality, that light and dark beginning and end are inseparable facets of the same whole. Could you hold both within your awareness, welcoming the dawn without abandoning the night? A solitary crane glides across the courtyard, its wings slicing through mist like poetry in motion. You watch without grasping its beauty, knowing that the crane's flight is neither for show nor purpose, but simply what arises when form meets freedom. In this effortless dance, you recall the anecdote of the child who asked to draw the wind, merely watched leaves scatter across the courtyard floor, realizing that true art is the attentive witness to life's unfolding. What artistry might emerge when you observe your own life with such innocent wonder? You rise feet bare upon the cool wood and stretch both arms overhead, reaching toward the slowly brightening sky. As your body elongates, you sense the teaching of right action. That movement aligned with intention becomes an expression of mindfulness. Each fiber of your being extends without strain, mirroring the gentle arc of morning's light. What intention could guide your every step today? If you moved with such deliberate grace, returning to the shrine, you bow deeply, touching your forehead to the floor in silent reverence, honoring not only this sacred space, but the teacher within who guided every breath tonight. In this bow, you acknowledge the seamless continuation of all your moments, the night's wisdom flowing into the day's promise. As you rise and sit quietly, you feel the final invitation to let go. Release even this memory of practice, allowing it to settle into the living river of your life. And now, as the world awakens beyond these walls, you gently allow yourself to drift towards sleep's tender edge, where form softens into formlessness and thought dissolves into the pure aliveness that pervades every dawn. Rest here cradled between night's departure and day's arrival, and let the silent witness carry you ever deeper into the boundless peace that is your true home. A soft chorus of morning birds greets the growing light, their songs weaving through the stillness like threads of silk. You remain seated, feeling the gentle warmth of dawn seep into your bones as though the day itself unfolds from within you. In this moment, you encounter the teaching of awakening, not the abrupt jolt of alarm, but the gentle emergence of clarity that comes when darkness yields to light. How might you carry this quiet awakening into every breath you take today? Across the courtyard, dew-laden leaves catch the first golden rays, each droplet shimmering like a miniature sun. You rise and step barefoot onto the dewy grass toes, sinking into the cool softness. With each footfall, you sense the interconnection of all life, the blade of grass, the bead of water, the churning earth beneath. Recall the Zen story of the gardener who tended a single seedling with unwavering care, only to discover that his own heart had grown into the vast forest he never planted. In tending this moment, you too become both gardener and garden seed and soil. As you walk slowly along the path, you notice the faint outline of distant mountains, their peaks brushing the pastel sky. The horizon holds no hurry. Each layer of color unfolds at its own pace. This is the teaching of patience, that growth cannot be rushed without fracturing its natural harmony. What might flourish in your life when you honor the timing of each unfolding moment? You pause by the stone basin, where petals from last night's blossoms float on still water. Gently, you dip a hand into the pool and stir the petals, watching how they swirl, then settle again. In this simple act, you taste the teaching of effort and ease combined. Even the smallest movement carries profound ripples, yet the ripples are embraced by the calm surface when left to subside. Can you meet your own efforts with this same blend of engagement and release? Returning to the hall as the sun's warmth grows stronger, you settle once more onto your cushion. The air hums with newfound energy, and you feel that same vitality rising within. Let each inhale draw in the freshness of morning. Each exhale release the residue of night's lingering thoughts. What possibilities awaken when you breathe in the morning light? In the stillness that follows, you bow to the rising sun, acknowledging the seamless dance of night into day. In this bow, you recognize that each ending is a new beginning, sleep's gentle dissolution, giving birth to wakeful presence. And so, with gratitude and ease, you prepare to meet the world beyond this hall, carrying the boundless peace of night's embrace into the unfolding story of your day. A gentle breeze stirs the sliding doors as you sit in silence, feeling the day's first warmth suffuse the hall like a soft embrace. You notice how every element, the breeze, the light, the scent of fresh pine arises together in a single unfolding tapestry. This is the teaching of unity beyond apparent separation. All is interwoven in the web of life. What shifts in your heart when you see yourself not as isolated, but as an integral strand in this vast pattern? You stand and step outside once more, sandals in hand, to tread the mossy stone path leading through the garden. Each step is steady, deliberate, an exercise in right mindfulness, where movement and stillness are one. You recall the story of the monk who carried a single grain of rice in his bowl, all the way across the mountain, honoring each step as sacred. When questioned about his slow progress, he replied, "Each moment is precious. Haste wastes the gift of now." How might your own journey transform if you honored each small step as a sacred act? Ahead, the magnolia blossoms sway gently, their petals unfolding in silent grace. You pause to inhale their fragrance, letting it anchor you to this singular experience. In the tender unfolding of the flower, you witness the teaching of natural growth. Neither forced nor hindered, it blooms in its own perfect time. Could you allow your own unfolding, your hopes, your dreams, to mature with equal gentleness and trust? As you return to the hall, you sense the lingering invitation of stillness calling you back to your cushion. Settling in, you close your eyes and rest in the awareness that underlies all form. Here, each breath becomes an homage to the present, each moment a doorway to awakening. Rest now in this ever-present spaciousness, carrying its calm into the rhythm of your day. You notice the subtle shift in the light as a single ray stretches across the floorboards, drawing an invisible line between past and present. You rest your fingers lightly upon the sunlit beam, feeling its warmth seep into your skin, reminding you of the teaching of timing, that every moment has its own perfect season. What wisdom might arise if you trust that everything unfolds in its own time, just as the sun rises exactly when it must. Allowing your gaze to soften, you observe a spider's silken thread spun between two bamboo stalks, glistening like a fine jewel in the morning light. The weaver itself remains unseen, yet its artistry hangs between worlds, delicate and strong. You recall the Zen tale of the master who taught that the true path is like that thread, visible in its manifestation, invisible in its origin. In that mystery lies both the question and the answer. What thread weaves your own life's tapestry, holding together, seen and unseen? A quiet smile touches your lips as you stand and drift toward the shrine once more, pausing to bow to the spider's craftsmanship and the subtle artistry of nature's mind. In this act, you honor the perfection in small things, understanding that generosity need not be grand to be profound. Consider then how you might practice generosity today. Perhaps a kind word, a patient ear, or the simple gift of your full presence. Returning to your cushion, you let your body melt into the support beneath, breathing in the quiet promise of this new day. Each breath is a brushstroke upon the canvas of time, and as you exhale, you release any lingering concept of past or future. Rest here, between sunbeam and shadow, between question and answer, and let the silent wisdom of this threshold guide you gently onward into whatever comes next, fully awake, fully alive. A delicate hush returns as you settle into stillness once more, the world beyond these walls humming softly with early morning life. You place your palms face up in your lap, inviting receptivity, and feel the gentle pulse of gratitude rise within. This is the teaching of generosity, offering not only what you have, but the fullness of your presence. How might your openness become the greatest gift you can share today? In the courtyard, you notice a single lotus bud nodding on its stem petals, clasped tightly in anticipation of bloom. You recall the Zen story of the nuns who tended a garden of wilted flowers. By watering each bud with care and attention, they witnessed all blossoms open unexpectedly each dawn. Their simple devotion revealed that compassion, like water, nourishes the hidden potential within every form. What bud might you nurture within yourself when you meet each challenge with kindness? Rising silently, you walk to the basin where the lotus petal still floats. Gently, you lift it and place it upon your heart, feeling its weight, a reminder that the tender things you carry are sacred. You bow to the reflection in the water, honoring the intertwining of inner and outer worlds. In this humble gesture, self and other merge, dissolving the boundary between giver and receiver. Returning to your cushion, you settle in one final time for this practice. With eyes closed, you breathe slowly, inhaling the possibility of each new moment and exhaling any residue of judgment or regret. Thoughts drift like pale clouds across a limitless sky. They come and go, yet do not define the open expanse beneath. What remains when all stories dissolve? Only your true nature, vast, awake, and alive. Rest here now, cradled by the silent embrace of this timeless hall. Let each breath carry you deeper into the river of peace that flows through every moment. And when sleep gently finds you, may you awaken tomorrow with a heart ready to give and receive the boundless kindness that springs from open presence. A whisper of breeze carries the scent of morning tea through the open doors, and you rise to let the gentle aroma wash over you. You walk to the small wooden table where a single teapot awaits its surface warm from the steeped leaves within. Pouring the tea into a delicate cup, you watch the amber liquid swirl, catching fragments of light. This is the teaching of simplicity, that profound insight often comes in the most ordinary acts. How might you uncover depth in your daily routines? By slowing down to taste each moment. You cradle the cup in both hands, feeling its warmth seep into your palms like the sun's first kiss. Bringing it to your lips, you sip slowly, noting the subtle bitterness and quiet sweetness intertwined. In that interplay, you sense the truth of dependent arising. That sweetness is tasted because of bitterness. Light exists because of shadow. What harmony might you discover when you welcome every flavor life offers? After the last drop has settled, you place the cup back on the table with a soft reverence. You bow to the tea, honoring its gift of presence, and then return to your cushion, letting the simplicity of this ritual settle in your heart. Here in the hush that follows, you feel the seamless thread connecting each breath, each movement, each thought into the tapestry of this night's practice. Settling in, you allow the teaching of mindfulness to become as natural as the beating of your own heart. Thoughts may arise, plans, memories, hopes, but you greet each with a gentle nod, neither grasping nor rejecting, letting them drift like leaves on a stream. What remains when you rest beyond thinking? Only the quiet light of awareness shining through every moment. In this space, you rest fully, no chapter to mark this passage, no label to contain its depth. Here, the boundary between practice and life dissolves. Every breath is both beginning and end, every moment both teacher and student. Let yourself abide in this seamless flow, carried ever deeper into the boundless peace that is your birthright. your refuge, your awakening. A drowsy hush settles as you breathe in the lingering fragrance of steeped leaves, and you feel a gentle heaviness in your limbs. You draw your attention inward to the space behind your eyes, the silent theater where images arise and dissolve without effort. This is the teaching of mind's mirror, reflecting all phenomena clearly yet untouched by color or shape. What clarity emerges when you rest in that luminous space beyond thought. A faint rustle draws your gaze to the small alcove where the bamboo wind chime still sways its hollow tones, echoing like distant laughter. You recall the story of the monk who carried a chime on his journey. At each village, he would hang it and listen to its voice, learning that the world speaks in subtle tones when we are willing to pause and hear. In this spirit, allow the chime of your own breath to guide you deeper, each inhalation ringing softly, each exhalation fading into welcoming silence. You settle back onto your cushion palms, facing downward to root you in the stillness of earth, and close your eyes once more. A gentle warmth rises from your belly, blooming outward to every cell, as though the body itself were a candle flame. Invite this warmth to flow through tension, dissolving knots of worry and leaving only the gentle glow of presence. What peace surrounds you when every part of you softens. In this final moment before sleep's arrival, imagine your consciousness as a lantern set down at the water's edge, its light reflected perfectly, doubling into infinity. You need not carry it any further. Rest here in the boundless reflection of your own being, and let sleep's soft tide cradle you into the deep, wordless expanse where only the silent witness remains. A tranquil hush envelops the hall as your breath grows softer and more rhythmic, each exhale a gentle tide drawing you ever closer to sleep's shore. You sense the quiet shift between wakefulness and dream, like dusk blending into night, and you rest here, embracing the threshold without hesitation. What arises when you allow yourself to drift, neither clinging to the known nor fearing the unknown? A feathery whisper of wind stirs the paper screens, carrying the scent of distant pine and the echo of last night's lessons. In this whisper, you recall the teaching of effortless presence, that true practice isn't added onto life, but revealed as the life already unfolding. Like wind playing through trees, mindfulness moves through you naturally when you simply let it be. How might you abide in this natural flow, trusting that everything you need is already here? Your body grows heavy, each muscle releasing its hold, as if the earth itself invites you to rest. You fold forward, head cradled in your hands, and feel the final traces of tension dissolve. In this humble posture, you honor the mystery that holds you. No revelation needed, only the gentle surrender to what is. What softness emerges when you finally let go? In the silence that follows, you imagine a single lotus floating on still water, its petals open to the moon's pale light. You are that lotus, untouched by the ripples beneath, radiant in the center of every wave. Rest here in the heart of stillness, carried by the silent currents of night into the boundless, dreamless peace that lies at the root of all being. A gentle hush lingers as you lie back on your cushion, the whisper of your breath, the only movement in the still hall. You draw your attention to the soft rhythm at your chest, and there beneath the rise and fall, you sense a deeper pulse, the heartbeat of the universe itself. This is the teaching of interconnectedness, that every breath you take ripples through existence, touching all life. What wonder unfolds when you remember that your very inhalation is a gift shared by every living being. Your eyelids grow heavier, and you imagine your thoughts as fireflies drifting in the dusk, brief sparks of light appearing and disappearing without resistance. In their soft glow, you see the beauty of impermanence, each thought, each moment precious because it cannot last. Allow them to dance and disappear, leaving the dark field of awareness clear and boundless. What freedom emerges when you welcome every spark without clinging. A distant rumble of wind stirs the bamboo once more, and you feel its resonance in your bones, a subtle echo of your own inner wind. You recall the Zen teaching that the mind is like the sky, and thoughts like weather ever-changing, yet the vast blue remains unchanged beneath. Sense that blue sky within you, now open and vast, welcoming both storm and calm. How might your heart expand when you rest as the sky itself? As the wind subsides, you notice the soft glow of dawn's first light seeping beneath the gates, a pale promise on the horizon. You remain still, letting the promise wash over you without expectation, simply receiving its gentle warmth. This is the teaching of receptivity, the power of being open to life's unfolding without forcing or striving. What wonders might arrive when you meet each moment with open hands and open heart. Finally, you release every last thread of tension. Your jaw softens, your shoulders drop, every muscle letting go. You are embraced by the quiet, cradled by the breath that brought you here. In this final sanctuary before sleep, know that you are home. There is nothing more to do. Let the silent witness within guide you beyond dreams into the spacious depths where peace knows no boundary. And now, allow sleep to come. In the deep hush that follows, you sense the threshold between night and sleep dissolve beneath you. Your awareness feels like a vast ocean where each wave of breath rises and falls without effort. Here, the teaching of surrender reveals itself to rest wholly in what is allowing every ripple of thought to return to the still waters beneath. What serenity might you discover when you embrace this gentle yielding? You imagine yourself drifting on that ocean, buoyed by the unceasing rhythm of your own breath. Beneath the surface lies the hidden current of awareness, constant, unwavering, guiding you onward. A Zen story comes to mind of a sailor who, lost at sea, let go of his oars, trusting the ocean's current to bring him home. In that trust, he found his way. Could you too let go of striving and trust the current of your own being? In the silence, you become aware of a faint glow at the edges of your vision, a memory of the lantern's flame, steadfast amid darkness. You feel its warmth within you, now a gentle ember that needs no tending. This is the teaching of inner refuge, that wherever you wander, home resides in the heart's light. What guidance arises when you follow that inner flame rather than any external shadow. A subtle smile graces your mind as you recall the monk who, seated beneath a withering tree, watched its leaves fall one by one. When asked why he was unmoved by its decay, he answered, "Each leaf returns to the earth from which it sprung. In that return lies the promise of renewal. In that promise, you recognize the cycle of rest, and awakening sleep's release leads to morning's clarity. How might you welcome sleep tonight as the tree welcomes each falling leaf, an integral part of the whole? Now, as consciousness and sleep interweave like threads in a tapestry, you rest in the silent meeting of opposites, wakefulness and dream form, and formlessness. No striving remains, no effort needed. Simply this breath presence and the soft descent into the boundless peace that awaits beneath thought's surface. Let the ocean of awareness carry you. Let the ember of your true self glow without flicker. And let sleep wrap you in its gentle currents. And now, allow every word, every breath, every moment to dissolve into the infinite calm of night's embrace, until there is nothing left but the silent witness drifting into the vast dreamless expanse where peace knows no end. A soft stillness settles as your body melts deeper into the tatami, and you sense the edges of awareness expanding beyond the confines of the hall. You rest in the gentle glow of dawn's promise, each breath a silent affirmation of this new beginning. This is the teaching of renewal, that every moment offers itself as a door to fresh possibility. What might you awaken to when you meet the day with the curiosity of first light? A breeze drifts through the open window, carrying the sound of distant temple drums, steady, unhurried. You follow its cadence inward, aligning your heartbeat with the drum's slow pulse. In that alignment, you encounter the teaching of harmony, that your inner rhythm need not struggle against the world's tempo, but can flow in concert with it. How different might your day feel when you move in time with the larger beat of life? You rise and walk toward the small alcove where morning offerings rest rice fruit and a single white chrysanthemum. Kneeling, you touch the petals with reverence, recalling the story of the farmer who offered the first harvest to his ancestors, acknowledging that every gift arises from unseen roots. In that humble bow, you honor the unseen labor of sky and earth, sun and rain. How might you carry that sense of gratitude into even the smallest tasks today? Returning to your cushion, you settle once more, feeling the last threads of night's calm woven into the fabric of your being. With eyes closed, you invite each inhalation to bring in clarity, each exhalation to release any residue of doubt. Thoughts may drift through a plan, a memory, a fleeting desire, but you greet each with a gentle nod, letting them pass without disturbance. What remains when stories fall away? Only the luminous core of presence, ever available, ever steady. Rest here for a moment, cradled between night's quiet wisdom and day's unfolding invitation. Let this seamless unity guide you forward, carrying the depth of practice into every breath, every step, every encounter throughout your day. A gentle hush returns as you settle onto your cushion, and you rest your palms lightly on your knees, fingertips grazing the fabric beneath. With each breath, you feel the lingering calm of night's teachings settle into your bones. This is the teaching of integration, that practice and daily life are not separate paths, but one continuous journey. What if every moment from dawn's first light to the tasks ahead became part of your meditation? You open your eyes to the courtyard beyond, where a lone sparrow hops among scattered petals. Its movements are precise yet free, each hop, each tilt of the head a perfect expression of presence. You recall the story of the master who, when asked to explain enlightenment, pointed to a sparrow in flight and said, "See how it moves without trying. That is the mind unburdened." In that simple flight, you glimpse the freedom of effortless being. Rising, you step outside to the stone path, the cool morning air brushing your skin. Barefoot, you feel each stone's shape beneath you, the subtle contours guiding your steps. This is the teaching of mindful movement, that walking is not merely a means to arrive, but a practice in itself. With each footfall, you greet the world anew, trusting that each step carries its own wisdom. How might your journey today unfold if you walked as though every step were your last? Pausing beneath a blooming wisteria, you lift your face to the cascade of violet blossoms. Their fragrant clusters hang like banners of spring, inviting remembrance of life's transient beauty. You think of the Zen tale, when a student asked how to grasp the essence of beauty. The master plucked a blossom and said, "Hold this in your hand, then let it go." In your palm, the petals fell silently, teaching you that true appreciation blooms only in letting go. What beauty will you cherish today? Simply by witnessing and releasing, returning to the hall, you settle once more onto your cushion, back straight yet soft. You close your eyes and rest in the spacious silence between thoughts, feeling the seamless thread of presence that weaves all these moments together. Let this integration carry you forward, beyond practice, beyond pause, into the unfolding tapestry of your life, where every breath, every glance, every heartbeat is an invitation to awaken. Rest here now, and let the peace you've gathered guide you gently into whatever comes next. A soft warmth radiates through the hall as the sun climbs higher, painting the walls in muted gold. You settle once more onto your cushion, folding your hands gently in your lap, and feel the continuity of each moment, no boundary between what was and what is. This is the teaching of seamlessness, that time-like breath flows without true division. What unfolds when you embrace life as one unbroken whole? A gentle breeze drifts through the open window, carrying the fresh scent of pine needles and earth warmed by morning light. You allow your senses to drink in the fragrance, noticing how each inhalation brings a subtle clarity, each exhale a soft release. In this simple act, you taste the teaching of renewal, that with every breath you invite new life and let go of what no longer serves. How might you welcome each breath today as a chance to begin again? You rise and move toward the alcove, where a single scroll hangs a painting of mountains shrouded in cloud. Standing before it, you notice how the peaks emerge and vanish, appearing solid only through the interplay of mist. This is the teaching of form and emptiness, that what seems concrete is sustained by what we cannot see. In this understanding, you find freedom from rigid expectations. Could you meet life's uncertainties with the grace of those mist-shrouded peaks, knowing their essence remains even when unseen? Returning to your cushion, you bow deeply, pressing your palms together at your brow, in gratitude for the dawn's light, for the teachings held in simple things, for this precious moment of stillness. As you rise and close your eyes, allow the gentle hum of awareness to settle at your center. Here, in the silent space beyond images and ideas, you rest in the abiding peace that is gathered through every breath, every step, every reflection. And with that peace cradling you, you carry this calm into the unfolding path of your day. You remain seated in the shifting glow of morning, your spine both rooted and uplifted as you draw in a slow, even breath. In that moment, you touch the teaching of spacious awareness, the invitation to rest, not in the limits of your thoughts, but in the vast openness that holds them. What expanses might you explore when you let your mind unfold like the sky at dawn? A soft rustle of wings draws your gaze upward to a hawk circling above the courtyard, its silhouette confident and free. You recall the Zen story of the eagle that taught the student how to soar. The master released him from every expectation, saying, "Let your heart be as light as wind, and you will learn to ride its currents." In witnessing the hawk, you recognize how release becomes flight. What burdens might you set down today to discover your own capacity to rise? Slowly, you stand and step outside, sandals in hand, onto the warming stones of the path. With each measured step, you feel the stones' textures underfoot, their ancient wisdom pressing gently into your souls. This is the teaching of Earth's support. Though unseen, the ground beneath upholds every moment of your life. How might knowing this steadiness allow you to move through challenges with greater ease? Ahead, a small pond reflects the sky, rippling where a single fish breaks the surface. You pause to watch it glide, its movement both deliberate and effortless. In that simplicity, you touch the teaching of right effort. Action guided by mindful intention arises without struggle. With your next steps, carry this rhythm forward each footfall. Balance between purpose and surrender. What flow emerges when effort and ease dance together? You return to the hall and bow before the simple altar, honoring the silent interconnectedness that links you to skystone and living breath. Settling back onto your cushion, you close your eyes and rest in the accumulated calm of these moments. Here, every lesson becomes your own unfolding practice. No separation between teaching and life. Rest in this seamless unity and carry its quiet strength into the unfolding day ahead. A gentle radiance fills the hall as the morning sun climbs higher, and you inhale deeply, inviting its warmth into every cell. In this embrace of light, you touch the teaching of transformation, how darkness, when met with awareness, reveals its hidden radiance. What aspects of your own life might shift when you bring gentle light to what you once held in shadow? You rise and move toward the low window, where the garden's dew-laden flora glimmers like jewels under the day's first rays. Your fingertips brush the cool sill, and in that simple contact, you feel the subtle teaching of intimacy, that the world is not separate from you, but a reflection of your own awareness. Could you approach each encounter, each person, each moment with that same closeness and care? Stepping outside, you walk barefoot onto the damp grass, noticing how each blade presses softly into your soles. With every step, you sense the teaching of presence embodied, that walking itself is a meditation when attended fully. You pause beneath a slender maple whose leaves tremble in the breeze, and recall the Zen story of the wandering poet who heard the trees whisper and wrote verses that echoed its rhythm. How might you listen more deeply today, tuning your heart to the subtle voices all around you? A soft breeze carries the scent of early blossoms, and you cup your hands to breathe it in, letting its sweetness suffuse your being. In that sweet breath, you taste the teaching of gratitude. Every fragrance, every flavor, every sensation arises as a gift. What simple offering of thanks might you share with the world as you move through your day? Returning to the hall, you settle once more on your cushion, closing your eyes and resting in the integration of night's wisdom and morning's promise. Here, the teachings live not as distant ideas, but as the very fabric of each breath, each step, each moment. And as you rise to leave these sacred walls, carry this seamless practice into the unfolding story of your life, awake, aware, and fully present. A soft hush returns as you lower yourself onto the cushion. One final time, the day's warmth still lingering in the wood beneath you. You close your eyes and bring your attention inward, noticing the gentle rise and fall of your chest, the silent metronome that has guided you from night into morning, and now into this sacred pause before action. In this moment, you touch the teaching of cyclical return, that every ending folds into a new beginning. Every exhale prepares the breath for its next arrival. What depths might you discover when you rest in this timeless pause between breaths? A single beam of sunlight filters through the lattice, striking the incense burner beside the altar. Tendrils of smoke coil skyward, painting ephemeral calligraphy against the air. You inhale its subtle sweetness and feel a calm clarity settle over your mind. This is the teaching of integration, how mind, body, and world weave into a seamless whole when met with attentive care. How might you carry this thread of unity into each task and encounter that awaits you beyond these walls? Softly, you lift your hands into gasho palms, gently pressed together at your heart, and bow your head in gratitude for the quiet journey you've shared. In this humble gesture, you honor both the teachings received and the wisdom already blossoming within your own heart. You rise with the grace of a tree whose roots run deep, even as its branches reach skyward, grounded in stillness, yet open to every possibility. Before standing fully, you pause to touch the bell's rim with a single fingertip, allowing its clear tone to resonate through your bones. The note rings out and fades, leaving a space, a profound silence in its wake. In that echo, you recognize the core teaching of all you've practiced tonight and this morning, that every sound returns to silence, every form dissolves into formlessness, and every moment offers itself as the gateway to awakening. You open your eyes to the full light of day, the courtyard alive with gentle motion, leaves, drifting birds calling the world unfolding its ordinary miracles. You step forward, sandal in hand, ready to meet the world beyond with the same mindful presence cultivated in these hours of quiet. What arises when you bring the stillness of this hall into bustling streets, into conversation, into each small act of your day? Let this be your living practice to walk as though on sacred ground, to speak with the clarity of the bell's tone, to rest in the boundless space beneath every thought, and to let every moment become both your teacher and your home. You step onto the stone threshold and pause, letting the warmth of your practice settle into every cell. As you inhale, you taste the cool clarity of early morning. As you exhale, you release any last trace of separation between practice and life. This is the teaching of non-duality in action, that formal sitting and daily movement are one continuous journey. How might each task today carry the same depth of presence as these hours of quiet? A gentle breeze stirs the silk curtains behind you, carrying the distant murmur of life-awakening market vendors, arranging wares, children's laughter, threading through alleyways. Rather than turning away, you lean into this sound, discovering that the boundary between silence and noise is an invitation, not a barrier. In this seamless flow, you touch the teaching of inclusivity. Every experience, pleasant or challenging, is part of your path. What richness might you find when you embrace each moment, even the busy ones, as a gift? As you finally place your sandals on the veranda's edge, you feel the earth's steady support beneath you, its unwavering presence anchoring you to the simplicity of now. A Zen story comes to mind of the farmer whose plow turned stones into fertile ground. With patient effort, even obstacles become the seeds of growth. Today, may every challenge you encounter be the turning of soil, inviting new life to emerge. And with each step you take beyond these walls, let your heart remain as still as the hall you leave behind, carrying the boundless calm of this practice into the living tapestry of your day. A soft warmth lingers on your skin as you step fully into the courtyard, each footfall a bell's chime echoing through your awareness. You pause beneath an ancient pine whose needles whisper secrets of centuries past. In their gentle murmur, you discern the teaching of continuity, that each moment is woven into a vast tapestry stretching beyond your life and beyond your thought. What gratitude arises when you recognize yourself as one thread among countless others, each essential to the whole. A single dragonfly hovers nearby, its iridescent wings catching the sunlight in fleeting rainbows. You watch its delicate flight, so precise, so unconcerned, with a destination embodying the teaching of effortless presence. Without striving or planning, it navigates the air with grace. What might you learn today by flowing through your tasks as freely as this winged messenger, trusting the invisible currents to carry you? You return to the hall. The lanterns glow now, a gentle companion rather than a guide, and settle onto your cushion for one more breath of stillness. Inhale fully, feeling the pulse of life move through every fiber of your being. Exhale softly, releasing any lingering tension into the earth. Here, where inner and outer worlds meet, you carry this seamless unity forward into each word you speak, each action you take, knowing that the path of practice is not behind you, but unfolding with every step. Let this truth guide you beyond these walls into the radiant story of your day. A soft hum of life stirs as you gather the quiet strength of these moments, feeling the hall's stillness follow you into each breath. You step along the pathway lined with moss-covered stones, noticing how each stone supports your weight with gentle resilience. In this support, you touch the teaching of steadiness, that beneath change and flux lies an unwavering ground. What steadiness might you carry within when the world around you shifts? Beyond the courtyard gate, the village begins to awaken, smoke curling from chimneys, distant calls echoing through narrow lanes. You meet each sound as simply another note in life's vast symphony, neither resisting nor clinging. This is the teaching of equanimity, embracing every tone with balanced mind. How might your heart remain calm amid the days coming and going, like a clear pool reflecting sky without disturbance? You continue along the path, sandals in hand, mindful of each lift and place of your foot. A baker's cart rumbles past, carrying the scent of fresh bread. You pause, inhaling its warmth and generosity, acknowledging the unseen hands that rise before dawn to feed their community. In this moment, you practice gratitude in action, recognizing that every gift arrives through countless efforts. What simple kindness might you sow in return as you move through your day? A stray cat brushes against your ankle, purring softly in gratitude for your gentle paws. You smile inwardly, bowing to this small teacher who embodies contentment in the present. Its soft fur and trusting nudge remind you that connection thrives in shared stillness. What doors open when you meet another being with the same quiet presence you cultivated in these halls? With each step, you carry the seamless practice of night and morning into the unfolding tapestry of life. Breath by breath, step by step, you bring the boundless calm within into the vibrant world, without aware that every moment becomes both your meditation and your offering. And so you move forward, heart, open mind, clear, walking the path of awakening with each gentle footfall. You pause at the edge of the village square, the morning sun now warm upon your back, and notice the simple rhythm of life unfolding around you. A vendor arranges bright fruits in neat rows, each mango and persimmon resting like a precious jewel. In this tender care, you touch the teaching of generosity, that abundance grows when shared freely, like seeds scattered across fertile ground. What offering might you give today of time, of kindness, of your full attention to nourish the world around you? You step forward and greet a passing child who carries a small basket of eggs, its weight borne carefully against her chest. She smiles shyly, and you bow in return, witnessing the dignity in her earnest task. Recall the Zen story of the farmer's daughter who carried water for the monastery each dawn through her daily chore. She learned that every humble duty can become a gateway to awakening when performed with wholehearted presence. How might your own responsibilities transform when imbued with gentle awareness? Turning down a narrow lane, you arrive at a simple kitchen where a pot simmers over a wood fire. The cook, a silent monk, offers you a bowl of rice and vegetable broth. As you accept it, you feel the warmth and sustenance settle into your bones. In that tasting, you experience the teaching of mindfulness in eating each flavor, each texture a doorway to the richness of this very moment. With every spoonful, invite gratitude for the earth's gifts and the unseen hands that brought them here. You linger a moment, savoring the simplicity of nourishment, then rise and step back into the flow of the day. Your footsteps carry the silent harmony cultivated through night and dawn. Each step a meditation, each breath a prayer. As you move onward, remember that the path of practice extends beyond temple walls into every interaction, every offering, every shared smile. Let this seamless mindfulness guide you, carrying the calm of that distant hall into the vibrant tapestry of your life. You continue along the winding lane, carrying with you the quiet blessing of simple moments, shared breath, shared sustenance, shared presence. Each face you pass reflects the same luminous thread. You've cultivated a glimmer of recognition that all life moves in harmony when met without division. You sense the teaching of reciprocity, that what you give in attention and care returns to you tenfold in connection and meaning. How might your heart expand today as you both offer and receive this subtle exchange? Ahead, you glimpse a weathered shrine tucked between two buildings, its painted wood faded, but still radiant beneath layers of care. You pause and bow, honoring the countless hands that have tended this sacred space through sun and rain. In that bow, you touch the teaching of legacy. Every act of devotion, no matter how small, ripples across time, weaving the past's love into the present's unfolding. What seeds of kindness will your own acts plant for tomorrow's blossoms? Stepping back into the sunlight, you feel the day's warmth settle within, and you carry this warmth into each step, an ember of calm glowing softly at your center. As you move forward, remember that practice is not confined to cushions or temples, but lives in every gesture, a word spoken with intention, a pause held with compassion, a breath shared in silence. Let these simple acts be your continuing meditation, your living offering to the world. And so you walk on heart, open mind, clear feet, grounded in the rhythm of the present moment. Each step is both departure and return into the tapestry of life, woven with threads of awareness, kindness, and effortless grace. A soft hush returns as you leave the square and follow the path toward home, each step guided by the quiet compass of your own awareness. The sun climbs higher, illuminating dust motes dancing in its rays, each a tiny universe ship sailing through the golden light. In watching them, you touch the teaching of infinitude, that the smallest detail contains the vastness of existence. How might your attention expand when you see the cosmos mirrored in a single moded beam? You round a corner to pass under an arch of climbing wisteria, its violet clusters swaying gently as though greeting you. In that movement, you feel the teaching of responsive presence life reaches toward you. As much as you reach toward it, each nod and breathes a conversation without words. What harmony arises when you tune your ear to this silent dialogue? Ahead stands your own doorway, modest and familiar. You pause, hand resting lightly on the frame, recalling the stillness you cultivated in the temple hall. In this threshold moment, you sense that practice does not end, It simply transforms into the texture of home life, the tapestry of every day. As you step inside, notice how that same calm infuses the familiar. The doors hinge, the floors grain, the soft light through the window. How different might your ordinary be when seen through the lens of presence? You set down your sandals and bow to the empty room, honoring it as you did the shrine. Here too is sacred space woven by your own attention. Settling onto your cushion one last time, you close your eyes and rest in the continuity of practice, breathing, being, becoming. In this seamless flow from temple to village to home, you discover that the path of awakening is not a distant road, but the very ground beneath your feet, ever present, ever inviting you forward. You rise from your cushion and move toward the alcove where the morning light filters through a simple paper screen, illuminating a low shelf with a single ceramic vase. Inside it, a lone iris stands its slender stem and violet bloom offered without flourish. You pause to breathe in its quiet elegance, touching the teaching of minimalism, that beauty needs neither abundance nor adornment, only the clear space to reveal itself. How might your life simplify when you leave only what truly matters? With gentle steps, you cross to the hearth where a small kettle warms. Steam rises in a delicate spiral, each twist a silent reminder of the teaching of transformation, how fire turns water to vapor, just as awareness turns moment to moment into awakening. You cup your hands around the rising warmth and feel gratitude bloom for every subtle alchemy that sustains you. In that warmth, what seeds of insight might take root? You carry the kettle to a low table and pour the hot water over a handful of dried leaves. As they unfurl their green tendrils, release a fresh grassy scent into the room. You inhale slowly and notice how each sip of tea becomes its own meditation, an embodied expression of mindfulness in action. Recall the story of the monk who in boiling water found that his impatience only clouded the brew. It was when he relaxed that the tea reached its perfect flavor. How might your own patience bring forth deeper sweetness in every experience? Returning to the cushions by the window, you sit and cradle the cup, letting its warmth anchor you. Outside, the breeze stirs bamboo leaves in soft applause. In their gentle rustle, you hear the teaching of interconnectedness. Once more, the same wind that kisses your skin also carries the scent of distant pines. Feel that shared breath between self and world, each inhale and exhale a circle unbroken. What simple act today will remind you that you breathe not alone, but as part of this boundless harmony? You rise and carry your cup to the entrance, pausing as the soft light catches the curve of your tea's surface. In that suspended moment, you touch the teaching of presence and transition. Each pause between action and stillness is as vital as the actions themselves. What clarity emerges when you honor the space between doing and being? Stepping outside onto the small porch, you rest the cup on its ledge and inhale the mingled scents of earth and blossom. A gentle stir in the garden draws your gaze to the herbs you planted weeks ago, basil, mint, and rosemary now thriving in quiet harmony. You recall the story of the gardener who tended a single herb patch and discovered that caring for another life is the most intimate practice of self-care. How might nurturing the small things in your world mirror the care you give yourself A breeze wends through the leaves, and you close your eyes, letting its cool fingers brush your cheeks. This is the teaching of receptive awareness that you need not chase insight. It arrives when you open to what already is. What wisdom could flow to you if you simply soften and listen? You return to the mat by the hearth, mindful of each step's texture beneath your feet. Setting the cup aside, you sit and fold your hands in your lap, back straight but relaxed. You bring to mind the day ahead, chores, conversations, quiet tasks, and see each as an opportunity to practice gentle attention. As you wash dishes, you will notice the warmth of the water. As you sweep the floor, you will feel the brush's rhythm. As you greet another, you will offer the fullness of your presence. How might ordinary moments become sacred when met with this open-hearted awareness? A single bird calls from the eaves, its note clear and unhurried. You let that sound resonate within you, an affirmation that simplicity and depth need not be separate. In this final moment of stillness, rest in the seamless unity of breath, body, and world, knowing that every next movement is simply another verse in the poem of your life. Let this awareness guide you into your day, each action a silent bow to the practice you carry within. A soft glow lingers on the horizon as you step into the day's gentle momentum, feeling the residue of stillness settle into each movement. You pause to tie the sash of your robe, noticing how the simple act of binding cloth around your waist can be a ritual of centering. This is the teaching of intention, that even the smallest gesture becomes meaningful when performed with full awareness. What intention will guide you as you carry out each task today? You descend the wooden steps into the garden sandals in hand and let your feet make contact with the dew-cool stones. With each placement, you sense the living earth supporting you, and you remember the Zen story of the gardener who walked the path backward each evening, so he might attend not only to the end of his work, but to each unfolding moment along the way. In that reverse journey, he discovered new details he had overlooked before: a moss's subtle pattern, a stone's quiet strength. How might reversing your habitual pace reveal fresh wonder in your own day? A gentle breath carries the aroma of jasmine from the trellis overhead, and you reach up to brush a fallen blossom from your shoulder. In its tender curve, you perceive the teaching of non-resistance. Blossoms fall without effort, trusting the cycle of bloom and decay. Could you meet the ups and downs of your day with the same grace, accepting each moment as it arrives without struggle? Turning toward the path leading back to your home, you catch sight of a passing neighbor carrying a heavy basket of firewood. You step forward to offer your assistance, lifting a few logs with ease and gratitude. In this shared effort, you touch the teaching of mutual support, that your strength benefits others as theirs enriches you. What connections deepen when you lend your presence to another's burdens? With the wood now at rest beside your hearth, you pause to bow to the hearth's warmth, honoring the flame that transforms logs into comfort. In that reverent bow, you recall the anecdote of the monk who lit a lamp in every room of the temple, not to banish darkness, but to honor the potential of light itself. How might you kindle light in the hearts of those you meet today? simply by reflecting the warmth you carry within. You return indoors and settle onto the mat by the hearth, the morning's light dancing across the walls. Closing your eyes, you rest in the continuity between your silent meditation and this living moment, feeling both merge into one seamless practice. With a final inhale, welcome whatever this day brings, and with a soft exhale, release any need to cling. Let presence be your guide, and let your life itself become the unfolding temple where every breath, every step, every kindness is both teaching and awakening. You step into the courtyard once more, the day's light now fully awakened, and feel the ripple of morning's warmth across your skin. You inhale the scent of sun-warmed stones and exhale any lingering hesitation. This is the teaching of readiness that each moment offers itself as an invitation when you greet it without resistance. What openness might arise if you met every experience as a guest welcomed into the home of your heart? You walk slowly toward the well at the garden center, its water clear and still. Drawing up a bucket, you watch the surface ripple, then smooth again, mirroring the dance of thought and stillness within your own mind. In that reflection, you touch the teaching of stability. Beneath every disturbance lies the capacity to return to calm. Could you carry this calm within no matter how turbulent the day becomes? Carrying the water back inside, you pour it into the basin where petals from yesterday's gatherings float. The blossoms drift in gentle circles, tracing the invisible currents you cannot see. This is the teaching of subtle influence, though you may not perceive your own impact. Every intention and action sets the world in motion. What quiet currents might your kindness send forth today? A soft voice from beyond the gate calls your name. It is a neighbor inviting you to join in tending the communal herb garden. You nod and step outside, sandals in hand, joining others in mindful labor. As you help untangle creeping vines and nourish the soil, you experience the teaching of collective harmony when individual efforts align. The whole flourishes more richly than any single hand could achieve. How might collaboration deepen the fruits of your own practice when the garden tasks are done? You bow to your companions, offering silent gratitude for the shared journey. Returning home, you pause at the threshold, pressing your palm lightly to the doorframe. In this simple gesture, you honor both departure and return, recognizing that the path inward and the path outward are one and the same. With each step forward into your day's unfolding, carry this seamless unity in your heart, knowing that every breath, every action, every shared moment is both practice and awakening. A gentle hush returns as you step back through your doorway, the warmth of shared labor still glowing in your limbs. You place the wooden bucket by the basin and pause, hand resting lightly on the cool frame of the entrance, feeling the solid reassurance of home's threshold. Here, in this simple gesture, you touch the teaching of groundedness, that no matter how far you roam, you can always return to the present moment by connecting with what supports you. What steadiness might you find when you root yourself in the familiar before facing the day's demands? You move into the main room and settle onto your cushion, folding your legs beneath you as you draw in a deliberate breath. The air carries the mingled scents of damp earth jasmine and wood smoke, each a reminder of the elements that converge in this space to sustain life and spirit together. In that convergence, you perceive the teaching of interdependence anew, not only between seasons or tasks, but between every breath you take and every world you touch. Could each inhale you draw be a silent bow to the countless lives supporting your own? A single ray of sunlight breaks free from the eaves, illuminating a small stack of scrolls on the low table wisdom texts you have yet to read. You reach for one, but then release it again, choosing instead to sit in unknowing openness. This is the teaching of beginner's mind, the freedom that arises when you abandon preconception and greet each moment as entirely new. What discoveries might unfold when you approach every task, even reading a familiar text, with the curiosity of the first time? Feeling the ease of that choice, you close your eyes and rest in the space between thoughts, letting silence expand like the sky beyond the walls. In that boundless expanse, you recognize that practice is not confined to formal moments, but lives in the gaps between where action becomes stillness and stillness becomes action. What stories might your life tell today if each pause were honored as deeply as each movement? With a final unhurried exhale, you rise to prepare for the day ahead, arranging a few simple tools by your side, ready to put mindful care into every task. As you move, you carry the seamless tapestry of night's meditations, dawn's reflections, and morning service into each step and gesture. Let this be your living practice every breath, a reminder of your interconnectedness, every action a silent offering, every moment an open door to awakening. And now, go gently, fully present into whatever the day brings. A gentle hush welcomes you as you settle once more onto your cushion, the rhythm of your breath guiding you back into presence. You notice the soft sway of bamboo shadows on the wall, each movement a silent reminder that stillness and motion arise together. This is the teaching of dynamic balance, that life's true harmony lies not in freezing the world, but in dancing with its ever-changing rhythms. What grace might you discover when you lean into the flow instead of resisting it? You rise and move to the low shelf where your simple tools of practice await a clean cloth, a small brush, and a bowl of water. With deliberate care, you pick up the brush and sweep away a single mote of dust from the wooden surface. In this tiny ceremony, you touch the teaching of right livelihood. Each act, however humble, becomes sacred when performed with mindful intention. How might your daily chores transform if you approach them as rituals of presence? The brush's soft bristles trace lines across the grain, and you recall the Zen story of the potter who shaped clay, not by force, but by listening to its natural curves. He did not impose his will. He coaxed the vessel to reveal its own form. In your gentle cleaning, you heed the same invitation to work in harmony with what is rather than against it. What shapes might emerge in your life when you collaborate with reality instead of controlling it? You place the brush down and dip your fingers into the bowl of water, lifting a droplet and watching it fall back like a tiny jewel. Each droplet holds the world's reflection. Sky leaves lantern light, reminding you that within every small moment resides the vast universe. Inhaling deeply, you invite yourself to rest here, neither rushing to do nor clinging to have done, but simply inhabiting the space between. What peace unfolds when you dwell in this open interval where doing and being merge seamlessly. You lift the cloth once more, pressing it lightly against the wood as you glide across the shelf's length. And with each gentle pass, you sense the teaching of presence. Embodied attention becomes love when focused without distraction. Remember the story of the calligrapher who practiced the same stroke thousands of times until each line became a single breath of art, steady, unhurried, complete. What artistry might your own life hold if you let every gesture be both practice and masterpiece? Stepping back, you inhale the faint scent of cedar mingled with incense's lingering warmth. Your spine straightens as you return to your cushion hands, resting softly in your lap. In this pause, you touch the teaching of balance, that effort and ease must dance together, like partners moving in silent accord. How might you weave this balance into the moments ahead, meeting challenges without tension, offering kindness without exhaustion? A single shaft of sunlight now rests upon the mat before you, illuminating the quiet space where breath and thought intertwine. You close your eyes and draw your attention to the meeting point of inhale and exhale, the instant of perfect stillness between waves. Invite yourself to dwell there, where doing and being merge. In that seamless space, feel the vastness of your own awareness, unfettered by past or future. Allow this calm to ripple outward into your day, carrying the simplicity of these small rituals into every action. As you stand and step forward, remember that each movement can be a bow to life's unfolding mystery. Each breath, a silent vow to remain awake, open, and wholly present. Let this knowing guide you as the world awakes around you, gentle, steady, and free. You pause in the midst of this quiet ritual, sensing the gentle hum of life running beneath every breath. You rise and walk to the low window once more, pressing your palm to the frame as though touching the pulse of the world beyond. In this subtle contact, you discover the teaching of responsive stillness. True listening calls forth life's own melody. What song might arise today when you greet each moment with silent attention? Stepping outside, you notice a row of wildflowers nodding along the path, each petal turned toward the sun, without struggle, perfectly open. You recall the Zen anecdote of the hermit who sought solitude only to learn that true solitude was not separation, but perfect openness to all that is. In the wildflower's simple reach, you see that awakening needs no effort beyond allowing. How might your own heart bloom when you simply lean into life's warmth without expectation? You return to the porch and settle on the wooden bench, letting the day's breeze carry away any last tendrils of tension. With eyes half closed, you rest in the space between inhale and exhale, recognizing that this very pause is the gateway to every teaching you carry within. As you rise to move into your day, you carry this seamless calm in your steps, knowing that every task ahead is both practice and pilgrimage. Each breath, each gesture, a pathless path leading you home. You step forward along the sunlit path, each footfall echoing the gentle rhythm of your breath. The village hum now drifts to your ears, laughter from children at play, distant calls of merchants hawking their wares. But you meet each sound as simply another note in life's ever-unfolding song. This is the teaching of inclusion. Every experience, bright or muted, weaves into the harmony of your day. How might you invite each tone, pleasant or challenging, to join your inner melody without judgment? You pause at a cluster of market stalls where vibrant fabrics flutter in the breeze. A vendor offers you a scrap of cloth, its colors bold, yet its weight feather-light. You feel its texture between your fingers, noticing how something so small can carry such vivid life. In that moment, you touch the teaching of small miracles. Abundance often hides in humble offerings. What simple gift, an encouraging word, a patient gesture could you share that would brighten another's day as this cloth brightens yours? Carrying the scrap gently in your palm, you continue to the edge of the square, where a tile mason works, shaping sun-warmed clay into intricate patterns. You watch as his hands move with both precision and freedom, each swirl emerging naturally from the material itself. This is the teaching of right creativity. When skill and surrender dance together, beauty arises effortlessly. How might you bring that same balance into your own endeavors, crafting each moment with both care and ease? A stray breeze picks up the edge of your robe, and you lift the cloth high, letting it catch the wind for a moment. It ripples like a prayer flag, offering blessing to all it touches. You bow to the air, bow to yourself. Bow to the unseen currents that carry you forward. In this triple reverence, the boundary between giver and receiver dissolves. You give attention, you receive life's gifts, and you bow to the mystery that intertwines both. Turning toward home, you feel the soft weight of fulfillment settle in your chest, a promise that practice need not end with ceremony, but lives in each conscious choice. With each step, remember that your life is the canvas of awakening, and every action, no matter how small, is a brushstroke of presence. Continue onward, heart open mind, free, carrying this seamless practice into the heart of your day. A gentle hush returns as you leave the square behind and follow the narrow lane skirting the riverbank. The water glides quietly beside you, its surface reflecting sky and leaf alike in a living mirror. You pause to trace a fingertip along its cool edge, feeling the teaching of reflection that the world you observe is also the world within you. What images might arise when you hold your own mind as gently as you touch this flowing water? You continue onward, sandals in hand, and notice a mossy stone bridge arching overhead. Beneath its curve, the river's song deepens, soft eddies swirling around unseen rocks. In that song, you hear the teaching of resilience. No obstacle can halt the current's path. It merely shapes its course. How might you meet life's barriers with the same fluid determination, carving a way forward without force? Crossing the bridge, you enter a small grove of ancient cedar, their trunks rising like silent sentinels. You close your eyes and breathe in their evergreen breath, feeling the teaching of rooted presence. True stability does not resist change, but stands firm through it. What strength could you draw from linking your own roots to the enduring silence beneath these venerable trees? A single cedar needle drifts down and lands on your palm, a simple gift from the forest. You hold it lightly, recalling the story of the hermit who lived alone among trees until he realized that solitude does not isolate but reveals connection. In this small offering, you touch that revelation. Every being everywhere shares the same breath of life. How might you honor that shared life in your thoughts, words, and deeds today? Stepping out of the grove, you feel the final invitation of this journey. Carry the stillness you've gathered here into each corner of your world. With sandal in hand and heart alight, with gentle awareness, you continue along the path, each step a declaration of presence, each breath a prayer of awakening, leading you seamlessly into the unfolding tapestry of your day. You follow the river's gentle curve until it widens into a calm pool, its surface so still it appears like polished glass. You sit at its edge, sandals set aside, and gaze into the water's depths. Here you encounter the teaching of still reflection. When the mind quiets, it reveals truths hidden in plain sight. What insights lie waiting beneath the surface of your own awareness, ready to be discovered in moments of true calm? Beside you, a simple wooden bench invites rest, and you settle there, folding your hands in your lap. A heron lifts from the far bank wings, outstretched in a slow, deliberate arc, before it lands with barely a ripple. In its poised descent, you witness the teaching of non-violence movement, gentle enough to leave the world unchanged, yet perfectly effective. How might you carry this lightness into your own actions, moving through life with compassion and care? A soft breeze carries the scent of damp earth and wildflowers, and you close your eyes to drink it in fully. In that deep inhalation, you touch the teaching of integration. Breath becomes bridge between inner and outer worlds, uniting self with all that is. With each exhale, you release the last threads of tension, allowing yourself to merge completely with this tranquil scene. You rise and walk slowly back along the pool's rim, noticing how each step now feels sacred, a conscious dance of presence on the earth's skin. Remember the story of the pilgrim who, upon reaching the end of his journey, discovered that the path he sought was not a distant destination, but the very ground beneath his feet. Could each step you take today hold that same depth of discovery? As the sun climbs higher, you sense the pool's mirrored surface transform, catching light in shifting patterns. You pause once more, bowing your head in silent gratitude for this communion with nature's simple wisdom. Then, without turn or farewell, you continue onward, carrying the river's calm into every future moment. Each breath, a testament to the boundless peace that flows ever onward within you. A gentle warmth filters through the canopy as you leave the pool behind and follow a narrow trail deeper into the forest's embrace. Sunbeams dance across the moss-carpeted ground, illuminating ferns unfurling in silent welcome. You pause and kneel, brushing a fingertip over the velvet fronds, feeling the teaching of subtle emergence, how life unfolds at its own pace when met with patient attentiveness. What new growth might you nurture within when you allow your intentions to sprout in their own time? Rising, you notice a shaft of light guiding you toward a fallen log draped in emerald lichen. You sit upon it, back straight, yet relaxed, and draw in a steady breath. In this simple act, resting on what once was alive, you touch the teaching of continuity, death, and renewal, interwoven as inseparable partners. How might you honor endings in your life as preludes to fresh beginnings? A distant trill of a songbird drifts through the trees, each note clear and unwavering. You listen, recognizing that every song is born from the stillness that precedes it. In that silence, you find the teaching of fertile emptiness. From quiet depths, beauty arises. What melodies might your own heart compose when you embrace the space within before speaking? Standing gently, you follow the bird's call to a small clearing where wild thyme releases its heady scent underfoot. You inhale deeply, letting its fragrance anchor you. In this present moment, taste scent and breath merging in seamless unity. This is the teaching of embodied awareness. Full engagement of all senses reveals the extraordinary in the ordinary. What wonders await when you lean into life with every fiber of your being, and so you continue on your path, each step a mindful offering to the world around you, an expression of the endless practice that carries you ever forward into the infinite depth of here and now. The trail narrows as you walk deeper into the forest, where light and shadow intertwine like woven threads. The world grows quieter here, not from absence, but from deeper listening. Even the rustle of leaves feels sacred, like the turning of prayer beads in the hand of the earth. You slow your pace, sensing the teaching of reverence that the divine often arrives, not in grand displays, but in the hush between footsteps. What changes when you walk as if each leaf beneath you were sacred? A small stone shrine appears ahead, half covered in moss, its edges softened by time. You approach it slowly, palms pressed together, and bow without knowing why, only that something ancient in you recognizes something ancient in it. In this wordless gesture, you receive the teaching of remembrance. Even when forgotten, the sacred waits for you. Could there be parts of your own spirit that long to be bowed to again? You kneel and place a pebble at the base of the shrine, a simple offering. There is no one to witness it, no inscription to mark its purpose. Yet in that act, you feel your heart grow quieter, lighter. This is the teaching of invisible offerings. The most meaningful acts are often unseen, their effects rippling far beyond your knowing. What offerings might you make today, not for recognition, but as a quiet echo of love? Rising, you turn from the shrine and continue along the winding path, feeling your body softened by the stillness, yet sharpened by its clarity. The forest seems to breathe with you. Now your steps no longer separate from the earth beneath. This is the teaching of union. The barrier between you and the world is only ever as real as your belief in separation. What new intimacy might emerge when you walk not through the world, but as part of it? The trees thin and a sliver of sky appears ahead. You move toward it, knowing the edge of the forest is near, but feeling no urge to leave, no pressure to arrive. The path, like breath, is both journey and destination. And so you continue, carried by the silence you now wear like a robe. Each step a prayer made not with words, but with presence. The trail narrows as you walk deeper into the forest, where light and shadow intertwine like woven threads. The world grows quieter here, not from absence, but from deeper listening. Even the rustle of leaves feels sacred, like the turning of prayer beads in the hand of the earth. You slow your pace, sensing the teaching of reverence, that the divine often arrives not in grand displays, but in the hush between footsteps. What changes when you walk, as if each leaf beneath you were sacred? A small stone shrine appears ahead, half covered in moss, its edges softened by time. You approach it slowly, palms pressed together, and bow without knowing why, only that something ancient in you recognizes something ancient in it. In this wordless gesture, you receive the teaching of remembrance. Even when forgotten, the sacred waits for you. Could there be parts of your own spirit that long to be bowed to again? You kneel and place a pebble at the base of the shrine, a simple offering. There is no one to witness it, no inscription to mark its purpose. Yet in that act, you feel your heart grow quieter, lighter. This is the teaching of invisible offerings. The most meaningful acts are often unseen, their effects rippling far beyond your knowing. What offerings might you make today, not for recognition, but as a quiet echo of love? Rising, you turn from the shrine and continue along the winding path, feeling your body softened by the stillness, yet sharpened by its clarity. The forest seems to breathe with you. Now your steps no longer separate from the earth beneath. This is the teaching of union. The barrier between you and the world is only ever as real as your belief in separation. What new intimacy might emerge when you walk not through the world, but as part of it? The trees thin, and a sliver of sky appears ahead. You move toward it, knowing the edge of the forest is near, but feeling no urge to leave, no pressure to arrive. The path, like breath, is both journey and destination. And so you continue, carried by the silence you now wear like a robe. Each step, a prayer made not with words, but with presence. You step gently from the shadow of the last cedar into a sunlit meadow, the light soft and golden as it spills across swaying grasses. The air here is lighter wide with space, and you pause to feel how your breath expands into this openness. This is the teaching of transition. When you emerge from stillness, carry its rhythm with you, not as something lost, but as something woven into your very being. What peace remains when you no longer separate silence from movement? A butterfly flits before you, its wings fragile yet certain as it drifts from flower to flower. You follow its quiet path, noting how it does not strive, only moves, with the air turning instinct into dance. You remember the Zen parable of the butterfly, that when grasped, crumbles in the hand, but when watched with care, becomes a lesson in freedom. What beauty unfolds when you stop grasping and simply allow things to be. In the center of the field stands a lone tree, its trunk thick with time, its branches reaching not to possess the sky, but to hold space within it. You approach and sit beneath it, resting your back against bark warm from the sun. The earth here is soft, the breeze slow. You feel the teaching of arrival. You need not go further. Everything you sought in temples and woods and quiet rooms is already here. Could you allow yourself to stop seeking just for a moment and feel that you've already arrived. Birdsong arcs above you, weaving sound into the silence like a thread of gold through cloth. You tilt your head back and let your eyes close, not from fatigue, but from a fullness too deep to look away from. There is no lesson, now only living. And in that, a final teaching life does not need to be understood to be honored. It only needs to be received. So you sit, breathing, listening, not waiting, not trying, just being. The grass sways, the tree breathes, and in the heart of this quiet world, so do you. The sunlight settles across your shoulders, like a shawl light and warm, as if the sky itself is embracing you. You remain beneath the tree legs, folded hands resting gently in your lap. And for a long moment, there is nothing to do and nowhere to go. This is the teaching of deep rest, that true peace is not something you must earn, but something you remember. How would your life feel if you stopped searching for permission to be at ease? You tilt your head toward the sky, watching small clouds drift slowly by, weightless, directionless, yet never lost. You breathe in time with them, allowing their soft impermanence to guide your thoughts. This is the teaching of allowing clouds don't resist the wind. They surrender to the path unfolding before them. Can you let your own thoughts pass as clouds do, without clinging, without fear, just movement? In the distance, a stream murmurs its sound low and continuous like a lullaby sung for no one. You rise and walk toward it, each footstep a continuation of your stillness rather than a break from it. When you reach its edge, you sit again, watching water fold itself over stones worn smooth by time. This is the teaching of patience. Water transforms not through force, but by staying true to its nature. What might soften in you, not through effort, but through presence? You cup your hands into the stream, letting the water pass through your fingers. It does not resist your touch, nor does it stop for your hands. It simply moves, offering everything, expecting nothing. In this, you see yourself mirrored. The stream needs no audience, no reward. It flows because it flows. Could you live like that? Could you give freely, speak gently, move honestly, without needing the world to affirm it? You rise one final time and bow to the stream, the meadow, the sky, not as a goodbye, but as a quiet recognition that you are not stepping away from this peace. You are carrying it with you. It is in your breath, in your step, in the way your eyes meet the next person's gaze. And as you begin to walk again, back along the path that brought you here, everything around you, wine, sunlight, bird call, silence, walks with you, not as separate things, but as your own reflection, flowing home with every step. You walk slowly, now the rhythm of your breath in perfect harmony with the sway of the grass and the hush of the wind. Each step feels lighter, not because the ground has changed, but because something within you has softened. This is the teaching of return when the world no longer feels heavy. It is not the path that has lifted, it is you. What burdens have quietly fallen away without effort, simply through awareness? The trail curves gently toward the forest's edge again, where light filters through branches like threads through silk. You pause beneath a leaning tree and place your hand on its bark, rough and firm. Beneath your palm, you feel a steady pulse, not of the tree itself, but of the earth, holding it, holding you. This is the teaching of support. You are never truly alone, because even silence is a companion. Could you trust in the hardest moments that even stillness is listening? Further ahead, a fieldstone wall marks the boundary between wild and tended land. You pass through the low wooden gate without hesitation, stepping into a garden where vegetables grow in tidy rows and herbs spill from terracotta pots. Here, in this cultivated space, you feel the same peace you felt in the forest. This is the teaching of integration. The sacred is not confined to still halls or high mountains. It lives in ordinary places, in daily rhythm, in your own hands. What if nothing needed to change for you to live as though you were always in the temple? You crouch beside a rosemary plant, crush a sprig gently between your fingers, and bring it to your nose. The fragrance is sharp and grounding, anchoring you in the now. A memory comes not of words, but of presence. And you understand, without thinking, that presence needs no memory. It only asks that you show up. A kettle whistles from the nearby house. You walk toward it with calm steps, each one echoing the silence of the forest, the stillness of the stream, the clarity of the sky. You pour the water, slowly steep the leaves patiently, and sit as the steam curls upward in offering. No words are spoken. None are needed. You drink. You breathe. And in that moment, nothing is missing. Nothing at all. You cradle the warm cup in your hands, its steam rising gently into the soft morning air. Each breath you take carries the scent of tea and the memory of pine, as if the entire path, the forest, the meadow, the stream has gathered quietly in your lap. You sip slowly, and in that pause between breath and swallow, you touch the teaching of wholeness, that nothing has ever been separate. The trail and the stillness, the silence and the sound, the going and the returning, they are one continuous moment. What would it mean to live as though you had never truly left? You look around the small kitchen space, sunlight dappling the wooden floor, a single flower in a glass jar, a broom resting against the doorframe. There is no grandeur here, yet it feels complete. You recall the Zen saying, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. This is the teaching of ordinary sacredness. Could you let every action today, pouring tea, folding linens, greeting a stranger, be a quiet act of awakening? The tea cools slightly in your hands, and you finish the last sip. You set the cup down without haste, as if placing it back into the world with reverence. Then you rise slowly, letting the full weight of your body root into the floorboards. You bow not to a person, not to an altar, but to the space itself, to this very moment. And in that bow, the final teaching whispers through you. The path was never leading you to peace. It was peace all along. You walk outside again, the air softer now, the sky wide with promise. The gate remains open behind you. The breeze moves through the trees. And as you begin the rest of your day, you do not carry silence like a memory. You live it like a breath. And if you're still awake, that's okay too. Some nights just lying still and breathing softly is enough to return home to yourself. The wind continues to move gently through the trees as you walk forward, though now you walk not as a seeker, but as one who has remembered. There is no rush in your step, no goal before you. Each footfall is a complete arrival. The world does not ask you to accomplish, but simply to participate, to touch, to see, to breathe. And this too is a teaching that presence is enough. You notice the way your shadow moves beside you, sometimes ahead, sometimes behind. You do not resist its shifting. It is not separate from you, only another shape of the same light. This is the teaching of integration. Even what seems dark belongs. What part of yourself have you kept in shadow, waiting for the permission to be included? You pause before a small pond you've passed many times without seeing. Today, you sit. The surface is still save for the ripple of a dragonfly's wings. You watch the water reflect the sky and feel your breath settle deeper into your body. For a while, you do nothing but be. This is the teaching of return without effort. You have not lost anything. You have only come back. As the light shifts and afternoon stretches outward, you rise again, not to go, but to continue. The path is familiar, yet new. You carry no burden, no lesson to hold tightly, no wisdom to declare. Just the quiet confidence that wherever you are, the practice continues. In breath, in gaze, in the way your hands meet the world with care. And now, your story blends with the wind and the trees and the hush of this long, peaceful walk. You've gone nowhere. You've arrived everywhere. And still the journey unfolds, softly, endlessly, breath by breath. You follow the curve of the path as it gently winds back toward the place you began. Though now it feels changed, not because the stones or trees have moved, but because you meet them differently. The trees seem to bow slightly as you pass, or perhaps it's your gaze that has softened. The bird song is the same, but your hearing has deepened. This is the teaching of return with new eyes. When you are present, even the familiar becomes wondrous. What else in your life waits to be seen again, not as it was, but as it truly is? The wind brushes your cheek like an old friend, and you smile without needing a reason. You stop and place a hand on the trunk of a tree near the trailhead, the same one you passed at the journey's beginning. It welcomes you as if it had been standing in quiet patience for your arrival. You feel its stillness and strength pass into you, and in that stillness, you sense no end, only the continuation of something sacred and simple. The teaching is clear. Presence is not a state to reach, but a home to return to again and again. Where will you find it next? As the path opens back into your daily world, you take one last breath beneath the open sky, anchoring yourself to this moment, not to hold it, but to let it flow through you. The sky does not change because you leave the forest, nor does the breath abandon you when your feet meet pavement. The practice goes on quietly, naturally woven into each step, each silence, each glance. And so you walk on, not because something is missing, but because life keeps blooming in each direction. You turn, still awake. That's okay, because now you know, some nights, just lying still and breathing softly is enough to return home to yourself. You walk slowly now, not to reach anywhere, but because there's nowhere left to reach. Every step is already the destination. The wind, the earth, the quiet sound of your breath, all of it moves with you, not as separate things, but as a soft unfolding of what's always been whole. The sun begins its descent, and the light grows golden, falling through the branches like kindness. Shadows stretch across the path, long and gentle like hands laid down in peace. You pause once more just to listen, not for answers, not for silence, just to be part of whatever is here. And in that pause, you realize the path hasn't ended. It never will. It only continues forward, moment by moment, breath by breath, through every simple thing: folding laundry, pouring tea, washing a dish, watching the wind move across someone's face. This too is meditation. This too is sacred. You carry it with you now, not as a lesson, not even as a memory, but as a rhythm in your body, a way of seeing, a way of meeting the world gently, again and again, no matter where you are. And as you step into the quiet evening, the light behind you and the world ahead, you do so not as someone who has returned from a journey, but as someone who never truly left. You are home, and if you're still awake, that's okay too. Some nights, just lying still and breathing softly is enough to return home to yourself. The evening deepens. A soft hush falls across the land, as though even the wind has chosen to rest. You lie down now, no longer walking, no longer seeking. The earth beneath you is steady. The sky above you is vast. And in between, your breath rises and falls like a quiet tide cradling you in its rhythm. There are no more teachings to remember, no more thoughts to follow, no more moments to shape. Only this stillness spreading gently through your limbs, into your fingers, your toes, the space behind your eyes. You let go of effort. You let go of waiting. You let go of needing anything to change. And in that letting go, you become the stillness itself. You are the hush between each leaf's fall, the silence behind the bird's final call, the warmth that lingers long after the sun has gone. There is no more arriving to do. You have arrived, fully, softly, now. Let the darkness wrap around you like a blanket woven from moonlight and breath. Let your body grow heavy like a stone resting in a stream. Let your thoughts drift farther and farther until they are no longer thoughts at all, but gentle traces dissolving into the night. No need to follow, no need to name, just rest. And if you're still awake, that's okay too. Some nights just lying still and breathing softly is enough to return home to yourself. There is nothing more to add now. Only the quiet unfolding of rest. The body knows what to do, how to soften, how to settle, how to surrender. Let it. Let the weight of your back melt into the ground. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw release. Let your eyes grow heavy, even behind closed lids. There's no need to reach for sleep. It will come like fog across the water, soft, slow, inevitable. And if it doesn't, that's all right too, because you are already in the place you were searching for. This moment, this breath, this stillness, no striving, no resisting, just being. A bird dreams in the trees. A stream hums somewhere far away. And you are here, wrapped in the gentlest silence. Let the world be as it is. Let your thoughts dissolve. Let your breath carry you where words cannot follow. And if sleep does not take you yet, rest anyway. You are home. You are enough. And if you're still awake, that's okay too. Some nights, just lying still and breathing softly is enough to return home to yourself. There is nothing more to do, no more steps to take, no more questions to answer, no more effort to give. You are exactly where you need to be. Not in the future, not in the past, but in this quiet unfolding of now. The breath comes and goes like a slow tide, unhurried, untouched by thought. Let it move through you. Let it rock you gently. You may feel thoughts rise again like ripples on water. Let them. Do not chase. Do not resist. They are only passing wind, temporary and weightless. Return instead to the feeling of your body heavy and warm, to the sensation of air against your skin, to the hush inside your chest. This is the deepest silence, not the absence of sound, but the presence of stillness. Let this be enough. Let this be the end of all seeking, not because answers have been found, but because you've remembered there is nowhere you need to go. You have arrived. Even now, especially now. And if you're still awake, that's okay too. Some nights, just lying still and breathing softly is enough to return home to yourself. There is only the breath now, soft, gentle, barely there. It rises, and you rise with it. It falls, and you fall into rest. The world continues quietly beyond you, a leaf turning in the wind, a distant wave folding against the shore, a star pulsing far above the roof of the sky. But here where you lie, nothing needs to happen. You are not late. You are not early. You are not behind. You are not ahead. You are simply here. And here is more than enough. The stories of the day have all softened at the edges. The voices have quieted. The thoughts have loosened their grip. And now you float, not away, not toward, but within this vast, still moment that asks nothing of you but to be. No trying, no holding, no fear. Only the gentle rhythm of your breath, carrying you deeper and deeper into the spacious night. And if you're still awake, That's okay too. Some nights, just lying still and breathing softly is enough to return home to yourself. There is no next step, no path to follow. Only this quiet, unfolding moment into moment, breath into breath. The night holds you now, like the ocean holds the drifting boat, like the earth holds the fallen leaf, like silence holds the final note of a song. You do not need to listen for anything. There is no message to receive, only the soundless understanding that rest is its own form of wisdom. Let the edges of thought blur. Let the shapes of memory dissolve. Let even the sense of I become soft and wide like the sky before dawn, waiting without needing to be filled. There is nowhere to return to because you never truly left. You are still here, still breathing, still whole. And as the last thought drifts across the surface of your mind, you need not chase it. You need not follow. Let it go. Let it pass. Let yourself be held by this silence. And if you're still awake, that's okay too. Some nights just lying still and breathing softly is enough to return home to yourself. There is only softness now, the kind that needs no explanation, no reason, no destination, just the hush of your breath and the warmth of your body cradled in stillness. Even time begins to loosen. Minutes stretch like silk. Moments dissolve like mist. You are not counting them anymore. You are simply floating inside them, weightless. The mind may stir again with one more image, one more thought. Let it rise like a feather on the wind. Let it fall back into the silence. Nothing needs to be done with it. Not now, not here. You have given enough. You have done enough. You have been enough. And now you are being held by the quiet, by the dark, by the breath that continues without needing to be managed. Soften even more into the pillow, into the pause, into the invisible arms of rest that have waited for you all along. And if you're still awake, that's okay too. Some nights, just lying still and breathing softly is enough to return home to yourself. Let everything be as it is. No changing, no fixing, no searching for something more peaceful than this. Because this breath, this stillness, this quiet rhythm in your chest is already enough. Let the body become heavier. Let the breath become thinner. Let awareness loosen its grip as gently as dusk lets go of day. There's no need to hold on to the edge. You are already safe in the center. The night doesn't ask you to sleep. It only asks you to rest, to stop reaching, to stop trying, to simply lie here, soft, open, quiet. Even the thoughts that linger are welcome. They are not obstacles. They are passing clouds in a sky that never forgets how to be clear. Let them pass. Let them fade. Let the silence return. And if you're still awake, that's okay too. Some nights, just lying still and breathing softly is enough to return home to yourself. Now, even the silence feels full, not empty, not lonely, but complete. You lie here as the world sleeps, not apart from it, but moving with it, as quietly as the turning of the stars. There is no pressure to fall, no urgency to drift, only this soft, endless unfolding of breath, of stillness, of presence. You do not need to do anything else. The room is dark, the air is calm, and your body knows the way. Let it carry you the rest of the way home. Let the last thought dissolve. Let the breath find its own rhythm. Let your awareness fade like a lantern gently going out. Nothing is lost. Nothing is unfinished. Nothing is wrong. You are here. You are held. You are whole. And if you're still awake, that's okay too. Some nights, just lying still and breathing softly is enough to return home to yourself. There is no need to wait for sleep. You are already resting in the heart of peace. Even without dreams, even without drifting, this quiet is enough. You are not behind. You are not doing it wrong. This moment, exactly as it is the invitation. The covers around you, the breath within you, the stillness surrounding you all are part of the same gentle embrace. Even your thoughts, if they come, are just waves passing across a vast sea. Let them come. Let them go. There is no effort here, only allowance. You have given so much. You have walked far. And now you are exactly where you need to be. Rest doesn't always arrive like a curtain falling. Sometimes it comes like mist, quiet, slow softening everything it touches. You are already within it. There is nowhere else to reach, nowhere else to be, only here, only this, only the breath and the body and the quiet rhythm of now. And if you're still awake, that's okay too. Some nights, just lying still and breathing softly is enough to return home to yourself. Let the stillness deepen. There's nothing pulling at you now. No voices to answer. No clocks to chase. The world has quieted, and so have you. Each breath is a slow unfolding, like petals opening in the dark. There's no need for light here, only the soft trust that you are right where you belong. Thoughts may rise, but they no longer stir the surface. You are beneath the surface now, where time slows, where the body remembers how to let go. Even your name begins to feel distant. Even the stories you carry soften at the edges. What remains is just this warmth, weight, peace. You don't have to fall asleep. You don't have to do anything. You are not late to rest. You are not early to peace. You are simply here, cradled in breath, carried by night, held by something larger than thought. And if you're still awake, that's okay too. Some nights, just lying still and breathing softly is enough to return home to yourself. Let the night hold you, not as something to escape into, but as something that welcomes you back, like a tide returning to shore, like a long-forgotten song that hums quietly in the background of your breath. There is no destination now, no final word, no closing gate, only the gentle continuation of this breath, and this one, and this one, each one softer, each one slower, each one deeper, like falling into warm water without ever touching the bottom, like dissolving into air and realizing you never needed form to feel whole. Even your heartbeat is quieter now, as if it too has surrendered to stillness. Let it. Let everything soften. Let everything rest. The day is behind you. The effort is behind you. Even the idea of needing rest has fallen away into the hush. Now there is only this, you, here, now, breathing, being, home. And if you're still awake, that's okay too. Some nights, just lying still and breathing softly is enough to return home to yourself. Thank you for walking this quiet path so deeply. You have arrived, not at the end of something, but at the center of everything, where breath meets silence and stillness becomes home. Let the journey rest now. Let the words fade. Let the hush carry you. Whether you are asleep or simply still, you are held. And if you're still awake, that's okay too. Some nights, just lying still and breathing softly is enough to return home to yourself.